What's up, YouTube? Dark Lord Diabolos coming at you with a fun deck profile of what I like to call Battery Men. Battery Men are the earliest attempts at a OTK strategy of an archetype by having Battery Man AA, which I will put up on screen, having all three of them summoned with Reckless summoning. I think that's the spell card's name. In order to have them all gain 3,000 attack and attack your opponent at once to deal 9,000 damage. Throughout the years, the deck has evolved, and they've gotten a lot of support to continue their OTK playstyle by evolving with the times. If you want a better description of how the Batteryman archetype evolved over the years, I suggest go watching Rada's video of his archetype archive on the subject. I'll probably have a link to it down below. If not, I definitely should. This one tries to do with the Batteryman archetype, and for some bloody reason, I'm almost at platinum with this deck. Who knew? I was about to say who bloody knew. I need to stop that cut here. Now, we're going to go over the monsters. For Batteryman, I'm running 2 Microcell. When this card is flip summon, special summon one level 4 Batteryman monster from your deck, except Microcell. After this card has been flipped face up when it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can draw a card. It is very simple for swarming and board setup. And the card you're going to special summon with this effect is, of course, the new, well, not the newest Batteryman, but the Batteryman that came out in 2014 during the dawn of the Pendulum era, Batteryman 9-Bolt. When this card is summoned, it can be summoned, flipped, fucking integration summoned, whatever you do to get this man on the field, he does a thing. You can add 1 Batteryman monster from your deck to your hand, and if you do, this card gains attack and defense becomes doubled. So during the day, this is really useful for dodging a trap card called Bottomless Trap Hole. Pain in the ass to most back in the 2014 formats, but nowadays it doesn't see that much play because, again, being too slow. And during the end phase, you basically destroy this card. Note during your end phase, so you'll have a 2,000 beat stick on field that just search you something for your rest of your opponent's turn when you get it off with Microcell. The other Batteryman support we're running is 2 Batteryman Charger. When this card is normal summon, special summon 1 Batteryman monster, except Charger from your deck, and this card gains 300 attack for each Thunder type monster you control, so it does not have to be Batteryman. And the main quote-unquote boss monster, other boss monster of the deck, is Batteryman Fuel Cell. If you control 2 or more Batteryman monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you contribute 1 Batteryman monster you control, and select a card your opponent controls, and return it to your opponent's hand. Bouncing, people. Bouncing. That's what this card's there for. It's mostly here for because you can special summon easy if you have 2 Batteryman on the field, which is very simple in this deck. The other cards I'm running in this deck are Thunder Seahorse, which helps you search out 2 Batteryman 9-Volt, Thunder Dragon, which helps you with one of our other boss monsters and thin out the deck, 1 copy of Ash Blossom, 3 copies of Vylon Prism. This is your tuner. That is a Thunder type monster and is very useful. If this card is sent from the monster zone period into the graveyard, you pay 1,000 life points and equip it to a monster you control. During the battle phase, it gains 1,000 attack. It is very useful to go forward with your beatdown strategy. Now, that's all the monsters I'm running in this deck. How about the spells and traps? Monster Reborn to fill up, because your graveyard's going to be filled up with monsters, you might as well use it to build up your field. Battery Charger for the same reason, it's the archetypal version of Monster Reborn. Thunder Dragon Fusion to summon your 1 fusion monster you have in this deck. Lightning Storm is a very useful tech option when you're going second. Quick Charger to add battery monsters back from your hand to add your 2 battery monsters from your graveyard to your hand. Monarch Stormforth, because you do have decent targets for it to get rid of your opponent's monsters. 1 copy of Twin Twisters for spell trap removal. 2 copies of Called by the Grave, the best card in Master Duel, at Do Not At Me. 2 copies of Forbidden Droplets to lower your opponent's monster's attack to beat over them. And our Solemn package, 1 Solemn Judgment, 2 Solemn Warning, and 1 Solemn Strike. All these cards are self-explanatory, and I don't really need to explain why I'm running them. Now, on to the extra deck. With this deck, you can summon generic level 8 and generic level 10 Synchro monsters. So the candidates I pulled up for my synchros are Stardust Dragon, because it is an easy way to get out for protecting your monsters against nuke wipes if you're going into late game. Avenging Knight Pashat, because you could literally inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. That's the only reason why it's here. Starlight Red Dragon Archfiend to blow up the field if necessary, and mostly because, again, it's generic. Enlightenment Paladin is basically your other go-to for Pashat, because that's the only effect you're really activating. Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Tree, because having an unbeatable beat stick that cannot be affected by effects except during main phase 2 is really, really good. Time Lord Progenitor, I am Vorpalgate, I hope I pronounced that right. A generic level 10 monster with a funny ability that can disrupt your opponent, and they're my brain cells. And Baroness de Fleur, a very powerful generic level 10 monster that can negate and pop cards if you're able to get out of the field, which if you have Violent Prism and a Batteryman Fuel Cell on field, it is possible. And our final extra deck monster is the one Thunder Dragon Colossus. If you're able to get off Thunder Dragon's effect during your turn into your hand, you can turn any one of your Thunder monsters into a 2600 attack beat stick that can prevent your opponent from, adding cards from their deck. Oh, and, since you're running Thunders, if it would be destroyed by battle or card effects, you can banish the Thunder monster instead. So he's really difficult to get over. And God forbid that you tribute Violent Prison to get him out, because that means when he attacks, he'll be 3600, so nothing can really get rid of him. Now, I don't really have that much of a replay value with this deck, sadly. We do have one that shows what this deck can do. And the guy basically surrenders before I'm able to finish him off. But we... If you are looking for more quality choppy content, please look at my backlog of multiple Yu-Gi-Oh content, some fake content, and some anime content at your leisure. If you're watching this video up to this point, I thank you, and I ask for you to subscribe and like the video if you can. Sharing it with your friends will be also beneficial. I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I think the way that we've been going, we might be able to reach that sometime soon. I post videos periodically through the week, some small minor videos, discussion videos on Wednesday usually, and a deck profile from either Yugioh Pro or Baxter Duel every Thursday. So please come and check in back in to see if your favorite archetype gets selected as a deck I am working on, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!